So I put you all in mute mode. If anybody wants to ask anything, please unmute yourself and ask me. Then we start with the discussion on the assignment. Anyone wants to say anything?
Hi, Kabir. It's Chandra here.
Yeah. Hi, Chandra.
Okay, Kabir, I got a question. Since you taught me about new modern syntaxes, try to apply at work. The one of the question I got stuck with loop and end loop. What we normally do with loop and end loop, the internal table.
Chandra, can you be a bit louder?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's better.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, thank you. Kabir, the reason I'm calling you, you taught me all the new ABAP syntaxes, the modern syntaxes, and also went through the video, understood everything. The question is, try to apply at work the loop and end loop scenario, right? What do? We loop and end loop and in an internal table, we try to modify some of the records in the loop and modify the internal table. But I don't know how to do that because I did all the reading internal table.
So see, this for loop is populating a completely new internal table. I told you, right?
Yeah.
And the second part is, if you want to modify the existing records of an internal table, you can use a simple approach. Even if you write loop and internal table assigning field symbol, inside that the logic, whatever you are writing for read table into a work area, size of RC equal to 0, and after you do the manipulation and then modify, right? Modify internal table from work area, right?
Yeah.
So what you do, that loop at internal table assigning field symbol you do, and loop remains the same, but inside that entire logic you wipe it off. Rather than that, make use of table expression, change the value, because with the help of table expression, you don't only you will be able to read values, you will be able to even write the values. Use the table expression concept to change the value. That's it. One line may you do the table expression, and the left hand side with the help of the table expression, right hand side again with the help of another table expression. Okay, change to suppose example loop at itab1 assigning field symbol fs1 example. Okay. So itab1 suppose index 1 column 3 then some blah blah value itab, then third bracket open close 1 hyphen column 3 then hyphen whatever, suppose val 1 example. I'm just telling you. So val 1 equals to, and you want to read it from the basis of itab 2. Okay, so itab 2 free key whatever 3, suppose value 2 equals to blah blah, example abcd. Okay, then on the basis of that, if it matches, then go to column 1, then go to value 2, then go to value 3. So I made use of the table expression on both the sides. So my value got written, end loop. That's it, done.
Oh, okay. That means you have to use the value expression and also reduce as well, right?
Yeah, and one point I forgot. Since you are using table expression, maybe the right hand side, left hand side, you are trying to populate the value, right? And on the right hand side, the table expression is going to keep the value. So suppose if the right hand side, if the table does not contain such record, then it will throw a dump, right? So better you use a value optional. That's it. Value has and then optional. Or you can even use try and try or line exists. But why do you want to go for line exists? Because it will be reading 2 times. So either make use of try and try, or default wala give a blank structure. But then again you have to give a blank structure there. Or best is you give value optional. That's it. So your code reduces to 3 lines. Is it fine?
Yeah, it is fine. Yeah, I'll try it out and I'll let you know. Yeah, sure. I got the point what you're telling me. Yeah, I'll try this out, and if any issues, I'll let you know by tomorrow. That should be. Thank you. And
you
this definitely increases the performance, right? Yeah, I got the idea. What you're telling me.
Yeah.
That means you have to go.
Just think, no.
Yeah.
Just think. First of all, see, with the help of field symbol, no more modify and all. First point, okay. Second point, no more reading table, checking size of RC, then only proceeding forward and all, not required. Again, pass a value to a variable, again add it to append it to that, and then modify. Right? You're doing so many things. I don't have to do so many things now. Along with the read, I am writing it also at one go.
Oh, I got the point. Yeah.
Okay, Chandra.
Okay, I'll try to I'll experiment this one and see how we go. Yeah.
Try this out.
Thank you.
Try this out and let us know. Okay. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, thank you, Kabir.
Thank you. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions, Vimla, Mirko, any other guys?
Hi Kabir, Sanskriti here.
Yeah, Sanskriti, can you be just a bit louder?
Yeah, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, actually, Kabir, there was one in one of the solutions. We had that s dot in s dot status. Why I was not able to get that? Why have we used that? Actually,
No, we will discuss with the assignment you are telling, right? Week 3 assignment, right?
Not exactly with the assignment actually. In the actually one of the solutions which we discussed, like you had shown some of the like codes, right? Which you had written and you showed us that okay, we can write in this way also.
Can you tell me the object name? Then I can open it up.
Or else code snippet maybe we can.
Yeah. Send the code snippet on the chat.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'll search for that.
Or even you can tell the object name also, not an issue.
Okay. I don't remember the object name actually. Okay, no problem. I'll search for that. So here in the assignment solution, actually, can you go to that assignment solution once?
Actually, which one? That's what I'm asking. Week last week, which I've given, right?
Week 3. Yeah, this one only. Yeah, right. This one only. So in this one we have used that cast operator, right, for calculating the date between the days between the dates, right? In this we have put as ABAP character we are trying to display the date, and then we have given a 1 here. So this I'm not able to understand why we have used 1. Like we have used that in the cast operator, and then in the for calculating the difference between the weights also we have. Yeah.
No, what I am doing here is, if you see what, first tell me, let me ask you a question. What is the inbuilt function that I have used? What is the inbuilt function here?
Space. Concat with
so space ka syntax is argument 1, argument 2, and the count of spaces that you need.
Okay.
Now are you able to relate?
1 means
argument 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Argument 1, comma, argument 2, comma, count of spaces that I need.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I used 1. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. Okay, Kabir. Yeah, this one is clear. Actually, we had used that end user text label, right? Annotation we had used that day. So we are using it in 3 different places. One is before the define statement. Another is at the element level, and one more like just before starting the speaking of the fields in the define in the CDS view. So what is the difference between that? Why do we use in these 3 places?
So the which we use before the define view, remember I had told all those are view annotations.
Yeah.
So when you give an end user text dot label before your CDS view, that is your CDS view ka description, which you will be using internally. As in when you create a CDS view, suppose when I create an ABAP artifact, I give a description, right? Whether we create a report or a function module or a class or anything, right? Similarly, when I'm creating a CDS view, I'll be giving a description, right? Suppose the CDS view is fetching the count and as per exposing as a node data example. Fine. So that CDS view description will come here at the rate end user text dot label, and the length is of 60 characters. Okay. Now.
Okay.
When you are using it inside your braces, these are your element level annotations, right? I told you. So when I'm giving an end user text dot label here, when on the day 9, most probably, yeah, on day 9, when I'll show you a sample list report which is created through a CDS view, you will see that whatever end user text or label or whatever annotations I give for the end user semantics, this text will what be the end user be able to see on his or her screen.
Okay, so like when I'm giving it in the element level, still the description is coming as the, like suppose for material I'm using
yeah,
the
right.
yeah, but still it is not showing.
I understood your point. I understood your point. When you are seeing just by doing F8, you are telling, right?
Yeah.
So by F8, this end, see what I am telling is, these annotations are for adding technical attributes and semantic descriptions. So technical attributes as in the technicalities, but the semantic descriptions will be in, like visible to the end users only, right? End users as in when you use it as in a UI5 app, or when you are exposing this data to someone or something in the other way, like when it will be consumed. Now, when you are seeing by F8 is the raw data that you are seeing. You will not be able to see the implications of these annotations. But what I'm teaching you is that how this annotation comes into picture. See, some of the annotations will show you the technicalities, like @ABAP catalog.preserve.key, right? But this end user text label and like giving certain positions and all, some annotations are specific to UI annotations, as in the user interface. So when it will be consumed from an UI perspective, then only you will be able to see the changes. Like if I give material number or material NO or material number detail or something like that.
Okay.
Not
technical characteristics. Okay, yeah, okay, clear, Kabir. No, what I was thinking, you are saying that technical characteristics and semantics as well. So technical characteristics means the technical characteristics of the material number field.
Technical characteristics as in what I mean is, don't relate this with your data element description or semantic description.
Yeah, that's what.
Don't relate with that, because whenever you are using Matner, automatically the data element description will come into picture, or if I use an alias name, this alias name will come into picture, if you would have seen, right? Now,
yes,
because my alias is my field name. Now, this semantic description, basically what I mean, these are end user text label. So as the name says, end user related text label. So that's what I'm again stressing upon. When you are consuming this in an UI5 application, as in the front-end applications, okay, then you will be able to see the implications of some of these annotations.
Okay, yeah, clear.
Once I show a day 9 list report sample, no. Once I will show you that the day 9 list report sample, though it's not in the syllabus, but I'll show you just like 10-15 minutes, like how the design is done and how it is consumed and all by using CDS annotations. Then I'll show you, you'll be able to see whatever description I've given here, same is showing there.
Yeah, okay. I have pinged the code snippet, Kabir, which I was asking actually. Can you check once? I have highlighted what I am doubtful about.
Just a second.
Yeah.
I've tried to open it. It is taking a bit of time to load. Oh, the domain you are asking. So what I was telling, no, those two syntaxes are related to, see, example, a particular domain has got some prefixed values, right? Fixed values.
Yeah. Yes.
Fixed value ranges. So if I directly want to use it as a character literal, if I want to use that domain, then so hash or colon, then your domain dot whatever fixed value you want. If you put a dot and if you put control space, no, all the values will come.
Okay.
So in the fixed value range, whatever you are specifying when you are giving a domain, that is that relation.
Okay.
Okay. Is everything
so it can be
now,
used.
So sorry. Yeah, tell me.
I mean, if this syntax can be used only for fixed values, not for like if we want to display something like hard coded. If we want to display something in the
hard coded directly, you put hard coded directly, you put it under colon, no, directly a character literal or numeric literal. This is just I'm showing you a variant. Mostly you will not use. I know that. And normally we also don't use during real-time requirements. But just for knowledge perspective. See, in ABAP also there are many things which we never use. The old things which we don't use, or some of the new things we don't use, right? But at least sometimes it's better to know. Like example, if in any code of SAP or something, you see this, you are at least able to understand that what is this. That is the only picture.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, clear, Kabir. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Any other doubts? Anyone? Or I'll just have a walkthrough of the assignment. Okay, guys, tell me first question. Mirko, Danny, Stephanie, everyone. You people were able to clear out the first question, right? And understand why we have to use cast and all. Here I've used Stephanie. I've directly hard-coded E. You can either use $session or you can use E. Stephanie, is it clear? See here. Not an issue. So, Mirko asking you the second question. Can you please unmute and tell me? Did you try it with through this select query?
Hello, I tried. Yeah, I tried today, but I was very busy with work-related things, so I wasn't able to.
Okay. Not an issue. Please try it out today or day after tomorrow. Not an issue.
Actually, I submitted my work, but it was not at this level. It was more, kind of using more the old ABAP stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Try to use all these things because see, the purpose of using all these things is that, see, if one of your requirement comes up with such a requirement, okay, it doesn't make sense to use a CDS view, right? Because you will never be using it again anywhere, right? Just for if for one requirement they want this output, just tell me one thing: does it make sense to create a CDS view like this, or does it make sense to use it like this? Yes or no?
That's what I can. You speak too fast for me, so slow down a little bit. What do you say?
What I'm telling is, suppose if there is a requirement, okay, wherein you get a similar type of a requirement, okay, data modeling. So does it make sense to create a CDS view for a one time like this, or does it make sense to create a modern ABAP OpenSQL fetching with the same thing?
Well, if it is a one-time shot, if it's going to be used for one time, I would say I would use the CDS view.
Why not modern ABAP OpenSQL if it's for a one time?
Well, I guess really it doesn't matter. You have to create one of either one, right? And you're going to store it, and you're going to be available to use it. It doesn't matter really which one you use. In the end, you're going to be storing one of them.
Right. True. So that's the answer actually. It doesn't matter whether you use this or whether you use that. What I want to basically show is that whether you want to go through, just give me a second. Wait, I'll put on my charger. Yeah, sorry. What I was telling is, whether you use a CDS view or whether you use a modern ABAP OpenSQL, it doesn't matter. But what I want to show you is that through both you can achieve the same output. It's not like that if people say that you have to go with a CDS only, that is a bad concept if someone in your team is telling. If it's feasible by a modern ABAP OpenSQL, then you can show them, yeah, it's feasible also through this type of SQL queries, where you can achieve the same thing in such a complicated way in a single select query. You don't have to use any kind of loop or something. So what my point is that See, if some of the operations that you have to do, like cast, concat, some arithmetic operations, something or the other, and earlier if you have seen a code where loop and all these processings were done, you can have a discussion. If you are a team lead, then obviously you can have a discussion with your team members, or if you are working on a client project, you can have a discussion with your client and as your manager and all. If you can work on revamping those codes and make it much more faster.
Yeah.
Getting my point? That's
Yes.
what my point is like. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Jessamine, see, now example, why I told you to do this, to do a runtime analysis, and if you see, via like SQL if I do, okay, it's like 3173, and if I do via CDS 2408. Stephanie, you can have it, if feasible, you can have it in the join on condition, or if you want to put it on the where condition, if you put it on the where condition, because both will eventually help you in filtering out the data. Both will eventually, if feasible, to first go for the join condition because it will filter out the data there and then only when you are doing a join. But if it's not feasible and you want to ultimately filter out the data after doing the join, then you go for a where. Is it clear, Stephanie? So, anyways, this question number 3 we had discussed during the class, but still I put it because many people hadn't practiced. Fine then. So I hope everybody of you had worked on the assignment. Even if you have not done, you were busy with work. This solution is already, I think, uploaded. Please refer to this and at least work on this part. Create a select query in the same lines. So Mirko, just one more question. If you will see the difference as in how you use a cast operator in CDS view and how you use a cast operator in ABAP SQL, have you observed a certain difference?
Okay. Can you
See,
show me again the other one? Yeah.
See, I'll just show you. Here, the cast operator, here we are specifying abap.char and the length has to be specified, right? Can you see?
Right. Yeah.
The length has to be specified. Okay, without this,
Yes.
it will give a cross here. You just try it out. But here, do you see I don't specify any length? If you want, you can specify a length. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That. Okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. I am not specifying any length here.
No.
So
no,
this
it's
is
like you're using it's like you're using a default ABAP data format, right?
Yeah, right. It will automatically, implicitly, when it will try to convert to char. So what will happen? Like when I'm casting from this to char, automatically by default the length will come as 11, even if we don't specify.
Okay, so it takes the default from
so that's
but
right. So that's why I'm telling to all to please just try this select query for once. Okay.
Okay.
Fine then. Anuja, this question that you are asking, without in or expect or see, if you want to do without in or expect, you have to create an internal table like that. You tell me.
Yeah, actually I have read one document on Google wherein they have created the internal table. I have tried with that also, but I was getting one error. So I'll try it out today and I'll post the code snippet on WhatsApp group. If I get any error,
even others can also try with you in that. Even others can also try with you in that. Then, like, if they are also able to help you out and achieve the solution. Okay.
Okay.
Gaurav, we are specifying 11 in the cast character because that is because implicitly, sorry, not implicitly. In CDS, while doing an explicit conversion, it requires a length here to be specified. This is the syntax abap.char and the length. When you do this, you will be able to see this, that abap.char a length has to be specified, without which it will throw you a syntax error. Okay, fine. Now let's first go to start with the today's class. Okay. So today's agenda will be focusing towards the semantics annotations that we use for the currency and the quantity fields. Yeah, Gaurav, that's what I'm telling. 11 is the by default length. If you specify less than 11, it will not take. That's what we are comparing with the modern ABAP OpenSQL also. By default, even if I don't specify the length, 11, it will, by default, when I'm not specifying, it will come as 11 only. Without 11, it will throw you an error. Fine. Okay. So we will be focusing on the semantic annotations for the currency and the quantity fields. Then we will be using having a walkthrough of the built-in SQL functions that we used in series. Then very important, currency and the unit conversion and the date functions that we have. Then important concepts that we need to know with respect to union and the union all. Then we will be seeing handling series with input parameters and using a series inside a series. And there is an important annotation that comes into picture, that is @environment.system field. And then one of the last topic, that is how we can transport a series view, and under the transport button objects gets captured. Okay. So moving forward to semantic annotations. So the semantic annotations are basically used to define the currency fields and the quantity fields of a CDS view and the CDS table functions. The last point, mark my words, is CDS table function we'll be seeing on day 9 as a part of the advanced concepts. Okay. So right now just first focus on the CDS view. So these are used for relating with the currency and quantity fields. So simple, if you want to compare, the hint is like, you can compare this to the currency and quantity fields tab that is available while you are editing the transparent tables, right? When we are editing a transparent table or a structure and we see any currency and quantity fields, we have to give that reference fields, right, for currency and quantity. Similarly, for CDS views also, for when you are using the currency and the quantity fields, this semantic annotations comes into picture. So it is recommended that we use the annotations @semantics.amount.currency code to link every amount field to a currency code field, and annotation @semantics.quantity.unit of measure to link every quantity field to a unit field. Okay, let me show you a sample. Just a second. I'll create a new CDS. So Aldo, even if we don't, okay, I'll show you it. The system got stuck up. I'll show you while creating only how it will behave and what you need to do. Is the system a bit slow for me or for everyone? So I'll use a view with join. Okay. Fine. First of all, I'll give a SQL view name. Let me give any SQL, SQL 1_demo_1. Fine. So I'll give a source name. Suppose if I want to do a join between SPFLI A and this thing, SPFLI A, I'll make this an inner join. And here I will use your CARRB, okay, and on your the SPFLI I'll give the condition as a.char_id and a.char_id as b.char. Okay, fine. Now whatever we will do, @ABAP catalog please of key is true. So we will have two key fields, key a.char_id, then key a.onID. I'll give alias names. Okay. Carrier_ID and connection_ID. Okay, and here distance as original distance and your distance ID, okay, as source distance unit. Fine. Now, okay. Now see, Aldo, the question that you are asking me, right? Now here, let me try to activate this first. I have given, see, the quantity as the distance and the unit of measure of this quantity as the distance ID, right? Now, let me try to activate this. Control and F3. So, when I am trying to activate this, am I getting any warning or something? Yes or no? Am I getting anything? No, right? Now first let me show you the output. Now see, carrier ID, connection ID, original distance, source distance unit, right? So this blah blah kilometer, this came into miles and all. Now this we saw the data preview. Also let us check the SQL view. If you are getting this message, no, please ignore this message. Okay. So now carrier ID, con ID, because @ABAP catalog dot preserve key. So carrier ID, con ID, everything came in fine. Okay. Now, basically what I meant is, even if you don't give, it will not show you any error. But, very important question and very important point. As again, if I specify, when you will use this in your front-end application and all, and when you want to specify that 500 kilometer or something or the other blah blah, so then as an ABAPer or as a developer, how do I understand that this distance ID is related to distance? Aldo, can you tell me, even if I don't write any semantics, how will you understand that this distance ID is the unit of distance? Suppose example, this element I wrote it here now, right? After distance, if I insert 6 elements and distance ID then comes at the 7th or 8th position, as a developer, how do anyone know that this distance ID is related to distance as the unit of measure? Aldo, you got my point, what I want to say? Yes, right. So now let me annotate and let me show you. So first annotation what I told, if I go back here, @semantics dot quantity dot unit of measure, right? So @semantics dot quantity dot unit of measure. Now here very important point. This unit of measure, what you need to specify. So for this quantity, What is my unit of measure, Aldo? Tell me. Let's make it very much interactive. So for this quantity, what is my unit of measure? Aldo, tell me. Distance ID, right? So what do I specify here? Do I specify distance ID here? Yes. So the very important point is, when I am trying to relate this quantity and currency in this way, and whatever currency key or the quantity unit of measure I have to specify, we have, if I have given an alias, example, let me show you. If I give distance ID, what will happen? I have given distance ID, right? Now see here. Original distance, no reference table or field combination. Can you see? Aldo, you are able to, now are you able to relate? See, it will throw you an error like this. Original underscore distance, no reference table or field combination. Now are you getting this description and relation? This will automatically throw you out now that this error is coming. So what I have to do, I'll select this and I put it here. Now wait, now the error went. Can you see, Aldo? The error gone. Now there is no error now. So now this field distance I am relating with this unit of measure as distance ID. So just doing this what we will not do. You need to add one more annotation, as in where you need to make that unit of measure as true. So semantics, okay, dot unit of measure as true. So that this is my unit of measure and I'm specifying this as true, and through this distance ID I am relating to the distance as this is the unit of measure for distance. Now let me do Shift and F1, Control and F2, Control and F3. And now I activate the same. So let it get activated. So Aldo and Dinesh, now when I do a F8 execution, will I be able to see any kind of change because of the semantics? Yes or no? Dinesh, please answer. Will I be able to see any kind of change because of the semantics? These two semantics that I have added. Will I be able to see any kind of change even if I do F8? Okay, now tell me, do you see any kind of difference between the earlier output and this output? Yeah, Aldo, you are right. Only at the front end level. Yes, right, Gaurav. Right, Sudha. We will not be able to see any kind of change in the output. Even when we were discussing the same with Sanskriti, we understood this point, right? So all these changes, whatever these annotations are with respect to your front end annotations perspective. So these changes, whenever you are adding these annotations, you will be able to see the same at the front end. Yeah, Aldo, see, even if you don't use this annotation, what did I tell you? That it is not mandatory, but it is recommended. If you mark my words, I told you that it is recommended to use these two annotations to link every amount to a currency code field and to every quantity to a quantity field, right? Otherwise, what will happen actually, a user of this CDS, so example, example simple. So Aldo, you create a CDS view, okay? And you give the same to Sudha. Now Sudha, when she wants to consume this CDS view to get the basic data, and she wants to build a CDS on top of your CDS, now by seeing your CDS view, suppose it's a very big CDS view, okay, a lot of code is there. Will she be able to relate what is the quantity and what is the unit of measure, what is the currency and what is the currency code? Yes or no? Just tell me in one word. No, she won't, right? So from that perspective, if a developer is using your CDS entity to build much more CDS with that CDS view, until and unless you annotate the same, just by reading your CDS views, you won't be able to understand. That is the main point what SAP wants to specify. That for respect to a user of a CDS entity, it will have difficulty to particularly correlate and interpret what values are provided in these fields. You got my point now, Aldo? Now is it clear? Okay, so guys, this is the semantics with respect to your unit of measure. Similarly, for the currency code, I have given a snapshot here. Suppose if I am using a gross amount and a net amount and all, so you can either use a leading annotation or a trailing annotation. and you need to specify .amount.currency code and at the rate semantics .currency code is true. So these two will come very important, either semantics.amount.currency code and semantics.quantity.unit of measure. Okay, another important point as we discussed, as given Aldo and all of you answered, that when you are specifying the unit of measure or the currency code here, this has to be an alias. Okay, participants, is it clear? Both the semantics and how do we use it? Okay, fine. Now, moving forward to the next point. So, please understand this inbuilt functions very carefully, because right now, just after a few minutes, I'll be giving you a class assignment which you have to do now. And in that way, it will be able to help me to understand how much you are grasping the same. Okay. So now, some of the important built-in SQL functions that you need to understand is that for calculations like in modern ABAP SQL, I told division, mod, division, and div. Similarly, here also you have your div operator, mod, and the division. Now, the important point that you need to understand is that in div, it accepts only the integer values. So the main funda of me showing you this is that you need to understand the important concepts and keep it in mind while you use this. So while using a div operator, it accepts only the integer values such as int 1, 2, or 4, or 8. Okay. And suppose if you want to use any such element which is having of type DEC car or QUAN, then it should have 0 decimals. It should not have any decimals. Otherwise, it will throw error. Please keep this in mind. Similarly, when you are using the modulus operator, mod, then it accepts solely and solely the integer operators. That is int 1, 2, 4, and 8. No DEC car or quant or anything. Okay. Now, going to the division operator, it accepts both your integer values as it is accepting here, but one change. The change is that when you are specifying a type with the DEC car or QAN, then it accepts with any number of decimals as well. So, simple funda, if you are having any element which is of type DEC car or QAN and it is having not 0 decimals, more than that, make use of division. And you can specify the number of decimals here. But if you want to use div operator, then you make sure that there is no such values with decimals. This is from the calculation point of view. Now, coming to the built-in rounding functions, so you have your absolute value, ABS, floor to the lowest integer, the below lowest integer, and seal to the next highest integer. So ABS, floor, and seal. And very important, this one which you will be using it day in and day out, the built-in string processing functions. One is your concat operator, argument 1, argument 2. Then your replacement operator, argument 1, 2, and 3. This you can very simple relate with replace the argument 2 values, okay, which is there in argument 1 with argument 2. So in one simple line, replace all the occurrences of argument 2 in argument 1 with argument 3. Just remember this statement and you will be able to understand. Replace this which is inside this with this. So argument 2 will be replaced by argument 3. So argument 1, suppose it was having A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So you want to replace D, E, F with X, Z, Y. So D, E, F is my argument 2. X, Y, Z is my argument 3, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is my argument 1. Similarly, now it's very important the substring operator. So in the substring operator, it specifies the argument, whatever argument you want to specify, from the position and the total length. So suppose from the second position up to 5 characters, so argument position is 2, length is 5. So from the second position to the 5th length, it will completely fetch that substring data for you. Important concat with space, what you have used in the assignment, argument 1, argument 2, and the count of space. This is what I was the syntax I was telling. Length, simply it will return you the length. Important point is that it will return the result of type integer 4. And one important point, suppose if you give ABCD and then a space, that leading space will not be applicable. Sorry, the trailing space will not be applicable. Leading space it will take, trailing space it will not take. Please remember this point. Please remember. So what I mean is, example I'll show you here. Suppose if I write this, okay, A, B, C, D, and I specify the length here, okay. Example length value, okay. So example, who should answer? Sudha, now tell me what should be the answer of this. If I do a length of this, what should be the answer of this? Or anyone? Sudha 5, okay. Now first, okay, first let us see the output, whether 5 is the correct answer or not. Yes, 5. Now suppose if I change this, now tell me guys, what should be the answer of this? 5 or what? Yes, it will be 4. Now I'll show you the output. Yes, 4. Why this point becomes much more important, you know. Suppose, example, Aldo gives you a CDS view with having a concatenation and it is having a, suppose a trailing space at the end. Suppose, okay. And you want to do a manipulation on that data model. You are building a CDS view on top of that CDS view, and you use a length to do some validations as a part of your end output execution in your ABAP reports, for example, something. Then if you take the length and if you validate that whether this is equal to a particular value or not, and you don't take into consideration, you remove into consideration the space, you will get different results. So that's why this trailing blank doesn't come into picture. Please keep this in mind. And apart from the length, you have left and right and lower and upper. Lower and upper, as we discussed, lowercase and uppercase. And left and right is from the leftmost, it will fetch you those n characters from that argument, and right characters up to those arguments. Okay. So are you guys clear with this inbuilt functions? The important point you need to keep in mind. Please remember these important points. That's why I have put it in such a simple way, so that you remember all these important points, whatever is applicable for all these. Okay, now what I want you to do is, wait, first let me explain you the so now your class assignment is, you want to do a class assignment, right? Yes or no? Okay, fine. So now your class assignment. Yeah, Kiran, I did not get you. Data 8 type I. Kiran, you saying anything? So if both are of division operator C, 2 divided by 3. So what did I show you? If you use this, it accepts only integer value, right? So if you accept only integer value, it will give you an integer result only, right? If you want to get this thing, decimal result, so you need to make use of division, argument 1, argument 2, and you have to specify the decimals. It will give you a result in the form of decimals. Got my point, Kiran? So what you do, 3 divided by 2, you use, yeah, Kiran, tell me.
Yeah, say what I was trying to ask you is, like, suppose if I do some division like this, okay, what it will round
3 by 2, right? Okay, wait. So now tell, okay, wait. We will do it now only. Now you tell me, how do I divide it, right? Now you tell me. Suppose if I use div, okay, fine. Argument 1 is 3, argument 1 is 2, right? And what is the error coming up? And alias name is not given, right? So if I use value, okay. Now I have used value. Just give it a second. Okay. Now tell me what will be the output. Any guesses? What will be the output of this?
I guess 1.
See, it will be 1 only, right? Because when you are using this div operator, it will round off to the nearest possible integer. So obviously 1.5 will be rounded back to the lowest one, right? When it does a rounding in ABAP, you would have seen, when it does a rounding, it goes to this floor concept, right? Suppose I want to do a seal on this. If you want to get a higher value, do a seal on that, it will go a higher value. And suppose if I specify divi sion, right? So what do I need to specify? 3, 2, 1. Suppose 1 decimal place, right? Now, what will you get the exact answer or not? Kiran?
Yeah.
See, I get the exact answer. So that's what I wanted to show you here. These three different formats. You got my point?
Why I asked? Yeah, I understood. But yesterday when I was trying to do something like 1 by 3 or 3 by 2, right? It was rounding up to the higher one. The result was coming as 2 in ABAP, not in SQL. Okay, if we do the same thing in ABAP, in report program.
Okay, in ABAP Open SQL you are telling, right?
Yeah.
In ABAP, see. Okay. Huh?
Just ABAP statement, okay. Like 3 by 2 equal to is coming as 2. Okay, ideally it has to be 1, right?
Yeah, see, one important point which you need to understand is that these division operators and all, when you are using from a CDS perspective, Kiran, and suppose when you are using from the ABAP perspective, the lot of differences comes in the value because of the way these operators behave at both, because this behaves at the database level directly, okay, and because of this decimal manipulation and all these things, the result that you get from here and the result that you get from there, you will find a lot of differences. The small differences you will obviously be able to see. That's why SAP says that be very careful when you are trying to do these calculations from here and do the calculations from there. Obviously, you are bound to get the differences in answer. Okay, Kiran?
Yeah.
Okay. So now coming back to the assignment question that I was giving you in the class assignment. So what you need to do is you need to fetch the data from snwd_so. Okay, snwd_so. So you need to fetch the data from snwd_so, just one table. You need to fetch the so_id field as the sales order number. Wait, I'll specify it here. Okay, one very important note is that you would have already seen that these built-in functions can be chained at will. I can use this inside a seal operator, string operators, I can use anything and anything here. I can use cast operator inside concats. You know that we can chain them at will as per our requirement. Okay. So now what I was telling is, I'll just write it here just for the sake of writing. I'll delete it. So what I'm telling is, you need to use this table snwd_so to fetch the data. Okay. What data that you need to fetch now is, make it very simple. Fetch so_id, give an alias name as sales order number. Then the next field that you need to fetch is gross amount. Okay. Then you need to fetch net amount. Okay. Then this gross amount and net amount, I want you to give the semantics like I showed you now. The semantics @semantics dot amount dot currency code. Okay, I need you to give that semantics. You can refer to this code. I'll open this page for you. This gross amount and net amount. Okay, and after this gross amount and net amount, you need to give a currency code as currency. This currency code. Okay, I give you how much time? Should I give you 5 minutes? Will you be able to do in 5 minutes? Just add these 4 fields. Then we will be doing part by part. 5 minutes, is it fine for you all? Speak up, guys. Okay, 5 minutes, create your CDS view, gross amount, net amount, add these annotation semantics, and use SNWD underscore SO and SO underscore ID as one more element. So one element, 2, 3, 4. These 4 fields now. So Stephanie, what I'm telling is create a CDS view to fetch the data from SNWD underscore SO. My first element should be, my key should be my SO underscore ID. Even if you don't specify a key, it's fine. SO underscore ID as the sales order number as the alias. And after that, gross amount, net amount and the currency code, and give the semantics for the gross amount, net amount and for the currency code. Okay, 5 minutes from now, 8:30, I'll also do it parallelly with you. 8:30 we go up to the next part. Start doing, guys. No, Gaurav, we don't have to do with join. I just want to fetch from SNWD underscore SO only. Great, Anuja. What about the others? Now, after the people who have done, just add these 2 where conditions, because with less amount of data, I want to show you something more on that. Add these 2 where conditions, 050000 and 050009, so that we have some less amount of data. That's it. Otherwise, you will get the entire data. Just add these 2 where conditions. Anuja, please add these 2 where conditions as you have already done it. I've just highlighted the same. I'll even post it on chat. I've posted this on chat. Just put the same. Is it done, guys? Great. So is it done for everyone? Can we move further? Okay. Now, one important concept that I want to show here is, so example, suppose with the today's current date, I want to add 14 days. Okay. With today's current date, I want to add 14 days. Okay. So first thing, now I will use the function that's a add underscore days, right? Okay, so this is the date, this is the days, and this is an error. Okay, now if you see here in the CDS view, there are three parameters to it: parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, date, days, and on error. Now this second part, I told that I want to add, suppose I want to add 14 days to today's date. Okay, now this on error, you can specify these 4 different values: fail, null, initial, unchanged. These are the 4 different possible values you can specify here to as a part of your date functions: fail, null, initial, and unchanged. So I'll specify fail here, that if this addition fails, it will throw me an error that it failed. Okay, now to specify this date, suppose $session dot system underscore date, right? Now I have to give an alias name, right? As I'll give current added system date, and now important point, can you see here? This is what an important point, that at your position 1 only expressions, literals, columns, or paths or parameters allowed. So guys, now you give me an answer how to resolve this error. Willie, give me an answer how to resolve this error. What should we do to resolve this error, Willie? Or anyone, please, first, what do we need to do to resolve this error? Yes, cast. Okay, so now suppose if I cast the same, cast $session dot, please observe very carefully here what I'll do. Cast this as, suppose, now there are 2 ways. One is that I have to cast it to a particular date format, right? Because to a date I want to add this 14. Am I right or am I wrong, guys? Tell me. I have to cast this to a date format, right? Yes or no? Okay. Suppose I take the standard data element while casting s underscore date. Suppose this is of that's 8. Okay, I can use the standard data element as well while casting. Now guys, please focus here that I get a warning that cast session underscore context SAPS to identical type DATS. Can you see that I am trying to convert this $session.system date, which is of type dates, to a same type of type which is of type dates. Can you see this warning? So how to remove this warning is that since I'm trying to convert a operand to a same target type, and I can specify a data element as here for converting from one operand to the other target type, I can give preserving type. See, I just give preserving type. Can you see? And the warning is gone. So what does this do here is preserving type comes into picture when you are using a data element or suppose of the same type to convert from one operand to the target type, and both are having the same types specifically with relation to the data elements. Then to preserve only the type and not to preserve the other technical attributes, I have to use the word preserving type. Is this guys clear? How to make use of this preserving type? Even if you don't go with, even if you don't specify the same, it will give you a warning only. But what I want to show you here is that this preserving type along with the data element will help you in removing this warning. Okay, Dinesh. So what I showed here is this is of DATS, this is also of DATS. Both are of same type, but this data element will have its own attributes, right? See here, s_date will have its own attribute, flight date, field label, and all the semantic attributes and all, right? But while doing a cast, explicit cast from this type to this type, I want to preserve only the type and not the other attributes. That's why I am specifying this preserving type, and it helps also helps me to avoid this. Kiran, system date is already having that, but it is giving error. Error as in I did not get you. It is giving error because in the dates add days in this parameter 1. I'll just show you once again. Wait, let me cut this same. And if I just specify $session dot system_date, just focus on this error at wait. What happened? Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Kiran, now see, focus on this error. Now tell me, what is this error specifying? Can you see? At the position 1, only expressions, literals, columns, paths, parameters allowed. Can you see? We are using a session variable here, session parameter. Can you see? It is not able to interpret the same at position 1. So we have to use a cast expression to achieve it. Got the point, Kiran? Why it is giving an error? So now let me put it back. Now let me activate the same. And now let me take the output. So can you see the output now? With today's current date, if I add 14 days, I am getting 10/10/2020, right? Yes or no? So why this concept I made you all understand is that the important point that you need to do understand is that first in that's 8 days. So the syntax is like all of these date functions where that is valid and that's days between date 1 and date 2. One thing is wrong. So dates is valid and that's days between these two gives me a result of type integer 4 only. But when you're using that's 8 days and that's 8 add months, so here the syntax is date, count, and the on error. So this error, on error can have fail, null, initial, and unchanged. But the important point is that this date, if you're just using the current system date and all, it will not be able to accept the same because of the restrictions. Now to handle that, you have to make use of a cast operator. And if you're using a cast operator and trying to convert it to a data element of the same type, then you need to specify the preserving type. Okay, now the next assignment that I'm giving you, you need to come up with a solution now, right now. So this is a format YYYY, MM and DD, right? This format is of YYYY, MM and DD. So the below code, you are getting the format as YYYY, MM and DD. Now the assignment for you is, I want to convert from this format to DD hyphen MM hyphen YYYY. Are you all getting my requirement? What I want to do? That I want to convert this format from YYYY MMDD to DD hyphen MM hyphen YYYY. So the assignment that I am giving you right now is that in this next 10 minutes, please come up with a solution that I want to convert this from YYYY MMDD to DD hyphen MM hyphen YYYY. Is it fine? Okay, so 8:41 now, you get time up to 8:50. Please try to work on this. Let me see if you are able to get an answer. To convert this from YYYY MMDD to DD MM YYYY. Try this out. And if any one of you get a solution, please ping me privately. Sorry, not ping me privately, ping here in the chat. Did anyone get the output? Any one of you? Guys, please answer. Did anyone get the output? Okay. What about the others? Anuja and Kiran tried. What about Sudha, Danny, Mirko, Willie? So should I give you one hint and you want to try, or should I give you the answer? After 8:50, there's 1 more minute. Should I give 5 more minutes? Okay, the hint is fine. Just tell me one thing. Prior to this, we used one concept. You understood that substring operator, right? Substring operator. Just I'm giving you a hint. Should I give you 5 more minutes? Or should I give out the answer as you all tell me? Okay, 5 more minutes. Fine. So Stephanie, Mirko, were you able to crack it? Aldo, what does the Saint Google say? Did it help in sorting you out? Aldo, are you there? Billy, I gave you the hint as well. Now relate my hint with Google Baba. Aldo, try it in your code and show me the output. Really, as of now, there is no other option because SAP hasn't yet come up with any such inbuilt function. So if such a requirement comes, better be ready with this solution. And this is a very well-known requirement. Users come and tell us that they want the date format in DD, MM, YYYY, or suppose month and then year, or DD dot MM dot something something. Yeah, I'll do test it once. So are you getting the output? Okay, let me see. You have activated the same, right, Aldo? Nope. You are not getting the output. I want DD first, then MM first, and then YYYY. I think just a slight, you need to change the sequence. Just change the sequence and then let me know. Okay, so one person got the output. Yes. What to do, I'll do. But we should be aware about the solution. See, one side you are telling that SAP doesn't have a function, right? But other side, do you see the positivity? Otherwise, you would have fetched this in the application server. You will be doing all this thing inside a loop and then showing the output, right? Am I right or am I wrong, Aldo? But now you are doing everything here. Don't you think it's a very big difference? You are getting the optimized executed output. You are doing everything here, right? This way you are pushing everything. Now are you getting the real benefit of code push down? So that's what my purpose was to why to make you do this assignment. Okay, now let me show you my solution. I'll just do refresh. Okay. Guys, please focus. You can continue with this again after the class as well. So see here, it's all chained inbuilt functions usage with the help of just concat and substring and nothing else. Concat, substring and cast. That's it. Concat, substring and cast. So if you focus here, what I did first, I have converted this to cast operator to char, right? Because concat accepts char. So inside a substring, I have first converted this to a cast $session.systemd as ABAP.char as 8. I am taking 7,2. Why 7,2? Because just see why. See, when I put this hyphen doesn't imply that this hyphen is there as a part of the value in the database. The value in the database is YYYY, MM and DD, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 2. So from 7th position, what did I tell? Substring, position 7th and then 2 length, 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 gives me this DD, right? After that, I concat this with an hyphen. So work of this concatenate goes out of picture, right? Up to this point, fine. Then I have to concatenate this DD hyphen dot with MM. So I'm using again a substring and I am taking the values again cast as abap.char 8 and 5,2. Fine. After that, again I am putting a concatenating, again I am putting a hyphen. And ultimately, whatever output you get, you again have to use a third concat to use both those concatenated outputs and concatenate with substring cast as abap.char 8 1,4. Did you all understand this concept? What I have tried to do? Is it clear to everyone, guys? Just that chained functions. This is what is very important. That what I want to make you understand. Chained functions push everything to the database. Push everything to the database. Make use of concatenated in a chained way. Make use of substring and cast. So I use cast, substring, chain concatenation. That's it. That will give you the solution. Gaurav, abap.char 11, when you are using, if you see, I am using char.8 because the system date is of type abap.char 8 I am specifying here. The usage, understand the usage here. I am using a substring operator here. Can you see? Understand the usage. I am using a substring operator here. So Ankit, I have done nothing. Is that YYYY 4 5 6 and 7 8 DD. So first I have to fetch this part. So substring, I have to fetch this part. So substring the argument and the position and the length. So in the argument here, I have used this $session.systemDate. I have casted into abap.char and then I fetched the 7,2. Then I have concatenated this with an hyphen. Whatever output you get, you need to concatenate the same with This is 5,2. So that's why 5,2. Again, whatever you get as the output, you need to concatenate with an hyphen. And ultimately, the final result, you have to concatenate this with this first 4. Yes, Aldo, right. It's plain old string manipulation. What you do at the ABAP level, everything can be done in the CDS level. That's it. Okay. So now what I was telling you, this 4 get functions that I showed you now. So this be the, like how I'm adding days, I can add months as well. And the first 2, that is dates, is valid, and dates days between. These 2 gives me in the result in the type of integer 4 only. So now the answer that who is asking, Ankit, Gaurav was asking. So in dates days between, I have to use abap.11 because of the function that you see. I am using dates days between here, and the other one that I am using is where did it go? I am using here your substring operator. So it depends on the use cases. It will not be like it has to be always 11. It depends on the use cases. The more you use, you will be able to understand the restrictions where what and all restrictions will come into picture from CDS. Is it clear, Gaurav? Okay. Now very important, currency and unit conversion. So simple requirement. I'll ask this question to Gaurav. Gaurav, earlier we used to get a requirement that so and so unit is in this unit. I want to convert it to some other unit. We used to fetch the data, write the logic in the loop, and used to convert it by calling a function module and used to get the unit. Or similarly, in the same type of requirement, I used to get the currency converted, right? Am I right or am I wrong, Gaurav? We used to earlier do it in the ABAP layer, right? By calling function module and all, providing the exchange rate or the date and all. There were many ways, right? Now for the same thing, no more of fetching the code and doing it at the ABAP layer. Any unit conversion, currency conversion comes into requirement, you can do the same from your direct CDS view only. So unit conversion, there is a inbuilt function which you can use. So in the unit conversion, you have to use this pass these parameters like this. So basically, the advantage that you get is that ABAP CDS allows you to move the conversions from the ABAP stack onto the database level to make it very simple in a one line. So the 2 inbuilt functions that you are getting is, one is your unit conversion and the other is your currency conversion. And important point. Now, Willie, tell me. So since I'm using unit conversion and currency conversion, will the semantics come into picture? The semantics based related to currency and quantity, will it come into picture, Willie? Yes or no? What about others? Will the semantics come into picture? Yes or no? Yes, right. Because if you see the unit conversion and currency conversion, I have showed a demo sample here. If you see, because when I'm using in unit conversion, I'll be making use of quantity and the unit of quantity, unit of measures to say it explicitly. Okay, so since I'm using both those values, obviously my semantics will come into picture, right? So now let me show you the sample from what I have done with respect to one unit. So I've used that same this one only. So if you see here, distance and distance ID, right? We did these two semantics, that is source distance unit and the original distance, and the right. Now for converting from this source distance unit to a target distance unit, suppose. So what I'll do is I'll make use of the unit conversion functionality. So in the unit conversion, the parameters it will be specified as here, parameter 1 the value, parameter 2 and the value. So now if you see the parameter 1, the quantity. So what is the quantity then I want to convert? So quantity I specify it as the distance here. Okay, here you need to specify the element name, not the alias. See here the element name. I have to specify the element name here. Don't get confused here by specifying the alias. So I have specified the element name as the distance as the quantity. So what is my source unit? Distance ID, right? So distance ID I have specified it as the source unit. And if you see the target unit I am specifying it here right away. So what I am doing, I am casting mi as abap.unit. Why I am casting it? Because this has to be of the unit type. So if I just give mi, error will come because both will not match. So I want to convert whatever is the source unit, I have to convert into miles. So cast mi as abap.unit. Then what is this unit conversion? If I just don't give cast, let me show you one thing. If I don't give cast here, okay. Just give me a second, guys. So if I don't give cast here, see, I'll remove this and I'll remove this and I'll remove this. Okay. Now see, if I don't give cast here and let me activate the same and let me show you the output. So when it show you the output now, can you see here? This is my original distance and the source distance unit is kilometer. The target distance unit is in miles because I have converted everything from miles. So if something in miles, no conversion will happen. If something is another unit, the conversion will happen. Now if you see the output, I am getting it default in the decimal which is of predefined because I don't want the answer like this. So I want the answer that it should be specified up to 4 decimal places only. It should be specified up to 4 decimal places only. So what I will do is, if you see here, the result that you get from here, it is of type abap.quan. Okay. So if I just navigate to this and show you the type, can you see abap.quan? The length is 31. Can you see here? The length is 31. abap.quan. Can you see? Length is 31. So what I'll do, I'll cast the same. Cast. I'll copy paste from here. Control X. I'll put it here as ABAP dot quen. Can you see length and decimals have to specify? So length I'll specify as 9 and decimals I'll specify as 4. Now one important point, it will again give a warning. So okay, I'll not put anything. Now who answers? Vimla, you answer me why I'm getting a warning here. Can you please answer me why I'm getting a warning here? Or Stephanie, you answer me why I'm getting a warning here. Tell me why I'm getting a warning here. Anyone? Stephanie, can you tell me why I'm getting a warning here? Why it is showing me a warning here? Yes, preserving type. Because what did I tell you? This unit conversion gives me the type as abap.quen, right? And I'm trying to cast it to the same type, right? abap.quen. What did I tell you? When we cast from one type to the same type, that is the operand and the target type, so it will give me a warning, right? So how do I remove the same? I'll give a preserving type. So give a preserving type. So now, if I see here, example, if I give a preserve type without a data element, as I was telling you, prior to this I did on a data element, right? When I was doing a preserving type, now I'm getting an error here. Did you get my point? If I use a preserving type without making use of a data element, it will throw you an error. So when we were doing the last one, I told you that whenever you are using a data element and it is of the same type, you have to do a preserving type, because you don't want to preserve the attributes, you want to only preserve the type. Now, since I'm not using a data element here, so that's why if I give a preserving type, it will throw me an error. Is this point clear, guys? That if you make use of a preserving type without specifying a data element, it will throw you an error. Is it clear, Stephanie, Mirko and all? Guys, are you there? See, in some situations you can avoid the, okay, if you don't want to avoid this, if you want to remove this warning, simple solution is that you specify it to a different data element. Don't give abap.quen, or specify it to, you want this value in a floating point or a decimal or what, convert it to some other type. Because this is also of type abap.quen and I am also converting it to the same type. That's it. You can handle it in that way. Yes, we can ignore the warning also. It's not that always you have to take care of warning. In ABAP, when we write the code, there are so many warning which comes. Do you take care of everything, yes or no? Then same applies here. That's it. Make your life simple. Isn't it, Mirko? Yes. We always don't have to brainstorm the same for a warning. So now, when I take the output, now see here. Can you see 9,4? So Stephanie, when I click on the warning now, it will say that cast unit conversion to identical type, because obviously no, it is of type abap.quen. I am also converting it to the same type. That's it. That's why, nothing else. Okay. Up to this point, is it clear? The unit conversion functions. Now, this currency conversion, this will be an assignment for you. The assignment that you did till now, that we did it in the class. Where did it go? Where did it go? Yes. The assignment that we did in the class. Now what I want is, after that you have done this date formatting, after this you need to make use of the currency conversion function, and you have to change the value. As in, what I want you to do is, as a part of your today's assignment, not the class assignment, as a part of the home assignment. So what you need to do is make use of the currency conversion, convert this net amount value by making use of the currency conversion function, okay, from the source currency code, that is the currency code as the source currency code, into a target currency INR. Okay, so once again I repeat, your assignment for today will be, by making use of this currency conversion function, you have to convert this net amount from the source currency code, which is in USD by default, to INR. Okay, and the exchange rate date will be the current system date. Did you all get the assignment? Is it clear to Stephanie and all of you? Everyone, Stephanie, Mirko, Aldo, Sudha, everyone, is it clear? So please do this as a part of the home assignment. Then you will understand how to make use of the currency conversion as well. And one more important point is that in the unit conversion and the currency conversion, there is some concept of error handling as well, which I'll show you once you do in that assignment. So if you select the shift and enter as the signature, there is a concept called error handling as well, where in the error handling you can set it to null in case if the currency conversion fails. In case the currency conversion fails, you can set the error handling to set to null. I'll show this part to you tomorrow as a part of the assignment discussion when you come up with the solution. Okay, and what are the different other values? So two important points, that for the unit conversion rules, these are maintained in the transaction CUNY and stored in the database table T006, and the currency conversion, these rules are maintained in the transaction OB08 and stored on the database table TCUR. Okay, make a note of these 2 points, that CUNY and OB08 and DB tables T006 and TCUR. Now moving forward to the next point, that is the important concept that we need to understand while using union and union all. Okay, how many of you know that what is the difference, major difference between union and union all? What is the major difference between union and union all? Tell me, guys. Anybody? What is the difference between union and union all? Anyone? Right. Anyone else? Yes, right, Aditi. Yes, right, Kiran. Okay, so just in the interest of to save the time and to make you understand the concept in a much more easier way, I have created a series view. I'll use the same. Okay, now first focus on this first part. Now suppose union is like simply whenever you don't want any duplicate records, union will eliminate all those duplicate records, and if you want the data with duplicate records, you need to make use of union all. So in one line, if the addition all is specified along with the union, then duplicate entries are also considered as a part of your result set, as you all told, right? So Kiran and Aditi, you all were right. Now the important points that you need to understand. So if you see here, when I am selecting from two tables, one is from S custom the tables and the other is from S travel lag. Okay, the important point that I need to make you understand is that the very first important point is that both these two result sets should have the same number of elements. As in, what I mean is that if I remove country from here, what you will get here? Number of fields in the selection list in the unions must be same. So the very first important point, the number of elements that you specify as a part of your first select query or whatever you specify as a part of your second select query, both the number of elements should match. That is the very first important point that you should need to keep in mind. Okay. Second point, if I give something called type underscore cust here, example, okay. So whatever alias name I have given here and whatever alias name I have given here, can you see? Whatever alias name I have given here, this I have given type, I am giving type underscore cust. So what is the error that you get? That both the alias names are not matching. So elements in the same position, mark my words, elements in the same position should have compatible data type and the identical alias names. So elements in the same position should have identical alias name and compatible data type. Very important point, the third point what I'm going to specify now is that if you see this, I just activate the same and I navigate to my SQL view. Wait. Did it get activated? So can you see here, I haven't specified any key here, right? Can you see any key here? Yes or no? I haven't specified any key. I've specified only the keys here. Now tell me, the SQL view that will be generated, what will be the key fields for the SQL view? Can anybody answer? Don't go to this object and navigate and then give me the answer. Tell me from here. So it will be ID only as per Willy. Anyone else? What will be the key fields? Kiran says all. Anyone else? What will be the key fields? Aditi Rastogi says ID. Okay. Now let me navigate to the SQL view and let me remove the suspense for you all. What are the key fields? Guys, please check. So the key fields will be mandate will obviously be there because I'm doing union, not an issue. ID and type only, right? Why are you telling all or only ID? Because here if you see, the important point is that key definition will be taken from the first select statement. So what are my key fields? ID and customer as in this type. And I've given @ABAP catalog.preserve key. So since I've given @ABAP catalog.preserve key, even though if I don't specify the same in my second one, don't you think only ID and type will be there? Yeah, Aditi, right. Now, if I change the same, I remove key from here, I remove key from here, I put key here, I put key here. Guys, now tell me what will happen. Billy, Aditi, everyone, now tell me, Kiran, everyone, you tell me now what will happen. What will be the key fields? What will be the key fields, guys? All will be keys, Mirko. Okay, as per you. Aldo, what will be the key fields? All fields from the first. Vimla says ID and type. Manikanta says ID and type. Kiran says okay. Now let me remove the suspense from you all. That's okay. Magic. Let's see the answer. See here, no key fields. No key fields. Why so? Any guesses? Any guesses why so? No key fields. All key fields gone. Any guesses why so? So, did you hear my statement properly? What did I say? Key definition is taken from the first select statement only, right? Yes, Naren. Union takes from the first select statement only. And in the first select statement, did I specify any key? No, right? So if I don't specify any key as a part of my first select statement, and I've given @ABAP catalog.preserve key as true, So will any key come? Yes or no? Willie, will any key come? Mirko, will any key come? Naren, Gaurav, anyone? Is the concept clear? Why didn't any key come up in my SQL view? So please keep this in mind. While using this result set, if you want to manipulate something, please keep this in mind. Please use it very carefully. I'll again put key back here, and I'll again put key back here. Okay, one very important point. Okay, the data types that you are using from the, as in with respect to the elements that you are using, those are taken from the first select statement. So what I mean is, suppose if I make this as example, I'll change it. Wait. So what I'll do is select from here where country equals to GB. I do a Control X. I put it here, and as where country equals to GB, I put an union, and again I put it here, Control X, and again I put it here. Okay, now this has agency. Now what I'll do, I'll make those two as keys. This is key. This is key. So guys, now tell me, I've given agency as type here. This is customer. Okay. Now let me activate the same. First, let me show you the SQL view. Now focus on the type length. What is the length of type? Char 6, right? And what is the length of type here? Char 8, right? Focus on these two. This is 6, this is 8, right? This is correct or this is right and this is right, right? This is not wrong. Because customer and agency. Agency is 6, customer is 8, right? Now let me show you the output. Can you see what has happened? Can you see what has happened? The values got truncated, right? Why so? Anyone? What is the concept behind this? Why so? Anyone? Why did this thing happen? Anyone? So the point is, please mark my words. The data types are taken from the elements in the first select statement. If an element in my other select statement has a compatible but longer type with respect to the same element in the first statement, then its content will be truncated. Did you get my point? Should I again repeat? Did you get my point, or should I again repeat, guys? Anyone who did not understand this concept? So the data types that you are mentioning, that is taken from the first select statement and not from the second. Even though in my SQL view it showed the length is 8, but the consideration will be done from the first select statement. So that is a very important point. That's why while giving the type and all, please make sure that while using union, please put all your focus on your first select statement. Or if there is something which is of short type, cast the same, convert to a higher type, and then use it. So that this truncation and all will be not in the picture. Otherwise, you may face the issue of truncation. So the very important point is that when implementing a union, please make a note of this point, that the data types of the elements in the element list of the first select statement should be long enough for the corresponding elements in the other select statements. Okay, how to decide union? Okay, Anuja, now suppose I'll give you a simple requirement. Okay, there is a requirement. Suppose that wherein you want to fetch data from a table, okay, and based on a join. Suppose if the join fails, I want the data again from that table. Okay, I want the count of records. So Anuja, now tell me, if the join fails, will I get the count of records? Yes or no? Yes or no? If the join fails, will I get the count of records? Anuja? What I'm telling is, I want the count of records on the basis of a join, on a basis of certain condition from two tables. So if the join fails, as in the left outer join or the inner join, will I get my count of records? Yes or no? No, right? But again, now I add one more requirement to it. Now I need that on the basis of join, even if my join fails, still I want to get the data from my main single table only. How do I do it? Don't I make use of union? One select query on the basis of that table only, and one select query on the basis of join of both. So even if my join fails, I get the data from my that table only. Now do you understand how do I make use of union? Is it clear, Anuja? So as Aldo even told you, it will be as per your requirement specific. So if you are finding that your join or something is failing with respect to the where conditions and all, because you have to specify sometimes because of the requirement where conditions and all those things. Many other parameters will come into picture. So if your data is failing because of taking into consideration the entire requirement, and you again need the data from a sole table or something or the other, make use of a union. Okay, Anuja? Fine. So similarly, now if I use wait, let me comment the same. Commenting is same as I had showed you earlier. There is no change in the commenting. Control and 7 or Control Shift and less the comma. So union all. So all the points remains the same. It's just that if I want the duplicate records, I make use of union all. So if I do an F8 now, see the number of entries as 266, right? And if I remove union all and if I just specify union and if I activate the same, and let me show you the output again. See, the number of entries got reduced by 6. So as you all people had told me earlier, the union all will take into consideration the duplicate records and the union will take into consideration the non-duplicate records only, as in the distinct records only. Okay, up to this point, is it clear, guys? Up to this point, is it clear, guys? Okay. Now moving to important point, CDS view with input parameters. Okay. So till now, we saw those examples of CDS views which are basically a type of a select statement, right? And you are able to add where condition also to it to filter out the data. But tell me one thing, this where clause, don't you think is static only? I'll not be able to make it dynamic, right? I'll not be able to make it dynamic, right? This will be static, right? This where condition. If I want to pass any dynamic values, I won't be able to do it. So now, if I want to make it as a non-parameterized view, then I was adding where condition. Okay, but it won't be able to fulfill all my project requirements or all my requirements, whatever I'll be getting. Suppose if a user interaction is required, when in whatever data he will give, on the basis of that I have to fetch my data model. So obviously then it will be a dynamic requirement. So then in that case, my CDS with my parameters will come into picture. So it is absolutely possible to add these parameters to take the user input and filter out the data from the CDS view accordingly. So we can provide your parameters to the CDS view just by adding a word when you are doing a define view. No, after define view we need to add with parameters and whatever parameters you want to specify. Okay, let me open a reference CDS view for you. Now see here, this is my parameterized CDS view. Can you see? Define view with parameters, where I'm specifying the material number, okay, and the language, okay, specifying the material number and the language. Now if you see here, these parameters are basically, it can either refer to your data dictionary type, or you can even refer to your ABAP.char, whatever ABAP data types are here. So you can either data dictionary ABAP types can be used, or the ABAP directly the types can be used while defining the parameters to the ABAP CDS view. Okay. Now we'll come to this point later. First focus here as in how we use this. So suppose I want to fetch the data from Mara and MAKT table. Okay. So my requirement is like I want to fetch the material number, the trim material number, and the material description. So suppose what I do, whatever language that I am entering here, okay, whatever language. So whatever language I am entering here, based on the language, I want to filter that if it's English, E, then English, otherwise I need to type non-English, okay. So how to use a parameter as a part of your element or as a part of your case expression operands. So either you need to specify $parameters dot and then the parameter name. See here, $parameters dot, if you put control space, the parameter names will come. Or directly if you want to use the parameters, colon and then the parameter name. So $parameters dot and then both the parameters, you can use any of the one, or you can use directly the colon and the parameter. This one is much more recommended by SAP, even though you can use the same. Okay, so in the case expression, I can even specify directly the parameter here, and then the whatever expression I want to give, and then filter out the data. Where e.Machner is equals to $parameters.p.Machner, as I told you, or directly with the help of colon. Okay, now let me execute the same. Wait, first of all, let me comment this out for you. Fine. Now let me activate the same. Guys, can anyone give me any material number? Can anyone give me any material number? Or wait, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, fine. I had, okay. So see here, as per the requirement that I built on, I wanted the material, the trimmed material number, the material description from MAKT table, what is the language code, and if it is E, then English, right? So now what the important point that I want to show you here, don't focus on line number 11. Now focus just on line number 9 and 10. When I am doing an F8 here, now can anyone answer me, if I don't specify language as E, will it process further or not? Anybody, any answer? Yeah, Manikanta, that's what I told you. You can use a predefined ABAP data dictionary or any type. You can use both. So any answer, if I don't specify any language, will it further process to fetch my data? Yes or no? Milko, it will process. Okay, fine. If I give here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Now if I specify, can you see OK is not at all enabled? It will not allow only. So the problem with CDS view is that whatever parameters you specify here, nothing is optional. It all becomes mandatory like this. It all becomes mandatory. See, I give E here, OK is enabled. See, nothing is optional. It all becomes mandatory. So it is currently not possible to define any optional parameters for CDS view. This is the problem. Yes, it is mandatory. But there is an exception. When I say the statement, there is an exception. That there is an annotation what I said you @environment.system field to link an input parameter to certain system fields that we have. Okay. Certain system fields that you have, you can link in parameter to those system fields and try to make those values only as optional, not all. Please mark my words. Though exception applies, but this exception applies for these only. That is the client, system date, system time, system language and user. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't apply to all. So what I mean is, suppose now if I uncomment this out, now Mirko tell me, will it be optional or will it be mandatory? Will it be optional or will it be mandatory, Mirko? Optional, right? Now first show me the output and then we will come back to the concept. Okay, it has activated. Now can you see the asterisk has gone? Can you see here the asterisk has gone? And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21. And see the magic. I didn't do anything. So $session dot system underscore language. Remember, similarly here, if you see here, the code that I've specified is syst underscore langu. So please remember this, that it will be not your $session like that. So here, if you see, I'll just put. Okay, somebody was asking me, right? Can we use ABAP dictionary types? Can you see here? Who was asking me the question? Manikanta, is it clear with this one? Syst underscore langu. I have not specified abap.langu or char or something. Okay. Now the important point, please focus here. Environment.system field. This annotation helps you to make this as optional. Please remember this annotation @environment.system field to make this as optional or defaulting any parameter value with any specific value. So now when I come here and relate this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 values only. And if you want to cross check the same, just put a control space here, system underscore language. Remove this, see the values, client, system date, system language, system type, user. So you can, why do you want, I am trying to make it as a parameterized view, right? Why do you want to again hardcode the same? Then there is no purpose of parameterized view. Yes, Mirko, this is handy only for a certain few fields only. So what I want to, one more important point that you need to understand is that I am giving system underscore language here, right? Okay. Now, one very important point that I want to show you here is, suppose, example, $session dot system user, okay, and user if I give, and if I try to activate the same, I get an ABAP error log. Do you know why? The error log is, it will say that user is a reserved keyword. And why user is a reserved keyword? If I remove this, why user is a reserved keyword? Because of this. Are you getting my point? So while using alias and all, if you give that system underscore date or system underscore language or system underscore time, because of the conflict with @environment.system field, you will get a conflict that this is a reserved keyword. So that is the main purpose of trying to relate and show you both these points. So system underscore language, and I remove this. and I activate the same. So you need to make use of this annotation @environment.system field to make it optional. Okay, so the main examples such as which will be mostly used, it will be SciDatum and SciLanguage, because we get a lot of requirements like run this report on the basis of the current system date. Don't you get a requirement like this a lot? Run it on the basis of the current system date, and the user will not specify any value. It will fetch on its own. So then make note of this. This will come very handy. I don't have to give also. It will take automatically be defaulted also, and it will give you the output. So I'll again repeat. You can use this annotation environment.system field strictly once per parameter. It's not like that I give plang here, again plang1, again I specify. It doesn't make sense, right? So it will be mapping, one-to-one mapping only. If you specified the system lang here, you cannot again specify the same otherwise. Okay? It is only once per parameter, it is strict. And it is moreover, it is not supported. And do you think it is of any sense to link the same parameter to more than one system field? It doesn't make any sense, right? To link the same parameter to more than one system field, right? Same parameter, you cannot link it with more than one system field. So that's why. So that's why please make an important understanding of this concept as to how to use this. Now, this I'll show you, Danny. The doubt that you're asking me, I'll show you in the next class when we understand how to consume this CDS with this optional parameters and all in our report. We'll go with the flow. Go with the flow. I'll show you all. I planned everything. I know that these all doubts will come. Okay. Now, if I want to consume the same in another CDS view. Okay. Now, suppose ZSCR. Okay. So now when I want to consume the same, so there, if you see, if I don't give any optional parameter here, okay, if I don't give any optional parameter here, p_language and all, example, if I make it here, if I comment this part, if I uncomment this part, okay, and if I activate the same. Now if you see here, you can either fetch all the records as select asterisk from your CDS view, or you can write as select from CDS view and then whatever fields you want to select. If you don't want to specify whatever fields you want to select here, if you want to fetch everything, you do as select asterisk from your CDS view name. Or if you want to fetch only certain specific fields, because obviously when you are trying to do a data modeling, you will not be fetching all the records, right? You will fetch certain records out of it. So this is mostly used as select from your CDS view name, and once you give it and whatever fields you want to give. Now very important point, suppose when I am trying to fetch this from this and I have not given this as an optional here, and if I remove the same, let me remove the same and let me try to activate. Now see here, requires parameter p_language. Can you see? Because that is not optional, right? That is not optional. So Control and Z. Now let me activate the same. And now let me show you the output ones first. So here again I have to specify, right? So 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 1, and language as E. I'll just copy paste this. Okay, I pass the value here. Can you see the material number, the material description, and the language, right? So from that CDS, I got the data here by consuming that CDS in this CDS. Okay. Now suppose if I disable the same and make the parameters optional. if I make this parameter as optional. Okay. Now if I make this parameter as optional, now if I comment this part and if I comment this part and remove this part, what happened? It did not get activated or what? I think it did not got activated. Just a second. Which one, Willie? This I have activated. No, this I have made it optional now. It was a system issue. See here. Now this got activated. System was not able to fetch it from the backend. Okay. Now see here, when I am using the same CDS view here, I am not specifying any p underscore language. And since I am not specifying it here, I have just commented the same because I don't need this parameter. Okay. And now if I take the output, though we have made this, okay, sorry. Yeah. So I've messed up one concept. Wait. So the point is, when you are using this CDS view in another CDS view, okay, when you are using the CDS view with optional parameter in another CDS view, this optional parameter will not come into picture and it will be mandatory. What I mean is, sorry, the point that I was telling is what with respect to your OpenSQL. Okay. Now what I mean is, I have made this as an optional parameter here, right? When I want to consume this CDS view in another CDS view, that optional parameter, it will be overwritten and it becomes mandatory. The impact will be only be able to be seen when we are using the same in OpenSQL when we do it in the next week. Tomorrow, because I'll be making you understand the basics of AMDP first. So where I messed up one point with my wrong. So what I'm telling is, though I have made it as an optional parameter here and I am using the same in my another CDS view, when I'm trying to consume the same, if you see, it will give you a syntax error that the entity this requires parameter p underscore language. So even though I have specified it as an optional here, and if you want to use it again the same in another CDS view, that parameter is overwritten and that parameter becomes mandatory. Is this point clear, guys? That the impact of that @environment.system field will not be applicable when you are consuming the same in another CDS view and you have to specify the other parameter. Is this point clear, guys? Please remember this point when you are using the CDS view in another CDS view, and if that first CDS view has got any optional parameter, you cannot skip the same. You have to pass the values, otherwise it will not accept. It will keep on throwing you the error. So Control and F3. Let's activate the same. This got activated, and now if you take the output, pass the value, yes, the output is here. Okay, so now coming to the last point, that is, so as I told you, this is strictly once per parameter, and this has an effect only in OpenSQL. When using the view in another CDS view, the annotation is ignored. So this has an effect how in OpenSQL, this you will see in day 9. Okay, and this input. So what happens basically when you are specifying @environment.system field, the input parameters are supplied from the related system fields. And what are the system fields as of now? Client, system date, system time, system language, and the user. So if you want to use the same as a part of an alias, it will throw you an error that these are all reserved keywords. And if you want to relate the same with the ABAP system fields, SI mandate, datum, use ID, language, and uname. Okay. So the next important point that we want to transport a CDS view. Okay. Let me show you. Since I haven't saved anyone in any of the transport, let me see where I have any. Okay, I have. Don't focus on this repair because there was some issue with the system. That's why it's showing as repair. Otherwise, we will be getting as development correction video. Anyways, let me change the type. Okay, fine. It is not able to change. So what I'm telling is, whenever you are capturing any of your database, CDS views in a TR, only your DDL source name will be specified here. Only your DDL source name will be specified here. You will not be able to see either your CDS view or your SQL view. Other important thing, if you want to see what is my corresponding SQL view or the CDS view for the same, because it's not mandatory that your DDL source and your CDS view name has to be same, make use of the DDL dependency table. DDL dependency table stores all the objects of your DDL source. So capture the DDL source from here, pass the same here, see the number of entries, it will show you the number of entries 2. Why the number of entries is 2? Because one will be your corresponding CDS view, because here most of the time we keep the CDS view name and the DDL source name same, right? So the type will be STOB. If you see, I do an F4 here. STOB is my structured object, okay, and view will be your database view. So one will be of type view in your DDL dependency table with respect to your DDL source name, and the other will be your CDS view and the type will be STOB. And the important point is that in your CDS view, only the DDL source will be captured, not the CDS view or not the SQL view. Please remember this point. So when you are transporting, do not interpret that I am not able to see my SQL view or my CDS view. Only your DDL source will take care of the transportation. Is this simple point clear, guys? With the transportation perspective, can we have a small quiz now? I prepared small quiz with respect to a few questions. Do you want to have a good brainstorming session now for 2-3 minutes? Or should we call it a day? Which one? As you guys tell me. If you're interested, then I'll obviously share the quiz. Right? Okay. Fine. So let's have a quiz time. So what I'll do now, we'll make it interactive. I'll unmute you all. Okay. Don't tell the answers. Don't tell the answers here. I'll randomly call up names. You people have to answer the question. Okay. You can post your answer on the chat. So question number 1, since everybody knows that core data services. So second question, Stephanie. What is the answer for the second question? Stephanie, what's the answer for the second question? So we can we use both CDS SQL view and CDS entity view in ABAP program? Yes or no? So you are saying false. What about the others? Somebody is saying true, somebody is saying false. So the answer is true. You can use both SQL view and CDS entity view in your ABAP programs for fetching the data. But as per SAP recommendation, you should make use of your CDS views. CDS entity view should be used more so with 7.5 NetWeaver onwards. Okay. The answer is true, not false. Because you can use both. You can use both to fetch the data. But as per the recommendations from SAP and with NetWeaver 7.5 onwards, with the help of OpenSQL, you should make use of CDS entity view. Now, Dinesh, you give me the answer for the third question. Both the CDS entity view and the CDS SQL view definition are saved in the ABAP transport. False, right? We just now saw that. Right. Okay. Now the next question, create table, create view and alter table and drop table are a part of DML. True or false? Mirko, answer, true or false? They are a part of DML. Somebody said true. Danny, how can it be true? This is a part, create, alter and a part of our part of DDL, right? SQL has got 3 sub languages, DDL, DML and your DCL. So these are a part of DDL. Next question, what is one mandatory annotation in CDS view? Which one is mandatory annotation? At the rate ABAP create.SQL view name someone is telling. Anuja, how can it be 2? At the rate ABAP catalog.SQL view name, right? Can we create an ABAP CDS views in an Oracle DB system? Yes or no? Can we create ABAP CDS views in an Oracle DB system? Yes or no? Sure? Sanskriti said no. Why Sanskriti? Why no? We have understood a very important concept that CDS views are database independent, right? Yes, that's why. CDS entity view is considered as the carrier of the model information and data source for selections in ABAP, and SQL view is considered as representative of the CDS view on the database level. True or false? This one is true or false? True, right. What can be used for changing the value of operand into a target type? Cast, convert, transform. This is a very easy question, man. Answer cast, right. Annotation at the rate client handling was introduced in 7.51 for handling client dependency or client independent. The previous annotation at the rate client dependent became obsolete. True or false? So Naren, it's not false, it's true only. Prior to your client handling, we had an annotation at the rate client dependent. Okay. So that annotation has now been replaced with at the rate client handling. So from 7.51 onwards, you do not have this annotation anymore. This annotation has been replaced with at the rate client.handling. No, Naren. I understand that SAP is backward compatible, but this time they completely wiped it off. Okay. Can we define an ABAP CDS view without key? Yes or no? Yes. Annotations can be preceding or trailing the CDS view fields. Yes or no? True or false? Stephanie says no. Why no? Stephanie, why no? At element level we have seen, right? We have specified why trailing at element level. Where did we go? Today we used it. Is this not trailing and is this not leading? Stephanie, this is trailing at the element level and this is leading at the element level. So why no? You understood the concept? Okay. So anybody of you have any questions? Danny, what I'm showing is at the element level, we can have a leading level annotation before the element, right? Annotation and then your element. And an element, then at the rate less than, and then your annotation. So we can have both. So participants, any doubt with respect to whatever we did today? And I hope that you had a good brainstorming session with respect to these 6 quizzes and the assignment that we did. So your you know your assignment for today. You make use of that currency conversion on the CDS view that you have built today, as in your this thing. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Yes, here. You need to make use of your currency conversion to convert the net amount as we had discussed. Okay. Fine then.
Kabir, what is
so
tomorrow's?
I hope till now. Yeah, Kiran, I'm just telling you that only. So since we have covered 2 days basics of CDS, tomorrow first we'll cover the basics of AMDP first, and then we move on to some of the advanced concepts of CDS on day 9, and day 10 again some advanced concepts of AMDP, and we do a comparison of both OpenSQL CDS and AMDP, and then we will wind it up on that fund. Okay, Kiran?
Okay.
So tomorrow we start with the basic concepts of AMDP, so that you people can have a better understanding and able to relate. So I hope today's all the concepts are clear, guys. I'll show you a demo, this thing, like how do we consume a CDS with annotations on the UI file. As in a list report demo, I'll show you, so that you get a clue of how things happen in that. Okay. Fine then, we'll call it a day today. We'll again catch up tomorrow. So one important point before we call it a day, please work on week 3 assignment. If you are stuck up with work and all, please work on that. Please work on the select query, so that the more and more you practice, the more and more you will be able to comfortable with this, how to use these codes and all. And the other point is that also work on the currency conversion on the logic that I gave. Work on that point as well. Okay. Fine then. So we can call it a day, right? We'll catch up tomorrow again. Okay. Bye guys. Stay safe. Take care.